Praise the Lord, children. Today we are going to learn the fourth lesson, Preserving the Lives. Bible portion of this lesson is Genesis chapter 45, 46, 47, 48 and 50. Exodus chapter 13 verse 19 and Joshua chapter 24 verse 32. Memory verse of this lesson is Genesis chapter 49 verse 22. Joseph is a fruitful bough by a well. His branches run over the wall. Now, what's the theme of this lesson? The Lord will do great things by His children. Now, let us learn about Joseph. Abraham's grandson was Jacob. He had 12 sons. Joseph was the 11th son of Jacob. But he was the first of the two sons of Jacob and Rachel. After the death of Rachel, Jacob loved Joseph very much, so his brothers envied him. One day, this Joseph visited his brothers who were tending their sheep. At that time, his brothers put him into a pit. A short while later, they took him from the pit and sold to the Ishmaelites. He was eventually brought to Egypt. There he had gone through many afflictions and finally he became the ruler of Egypt. The famine was over all the face of the earth, and Joseph opened all the storehouses and sold to the Egyptians. And the famine became very severe in the land of Egypt. So all countries came to Joseph in Egypt to buy grain because the famine was severe in all lands. Now, when Jacob saw that there was grain in Egypt, he sent his 10 sons to buy grain in Egypt. Joseph knew them immediately when they arrived in Egypt to buy grain for their father's house. Only Benjamin did not come. Then he put them all together into prison by accusing them as spies. After 3 days, Joseph sent them away, warning them to bring their youngest brother Benjamin with them the next time when they come to Egypt. Also, he ordered that the money they paid for the food shall be returned to their sacks. But Joseph kept Simeon as a prisoner in Egypt. All the others returned home. When they had eaten up the grain which they had brought from Egypt, that their father said to them, "Go back, buy us a little food." But Judah said, "Without Benjamin, we can't go there." Anyhow, finally, they went with Benjamin. Now, this time, when Joseph saw Benjamin, he was very happy. He gave them food, and then Joseph tested his brother by returning their money in each sack of grain they had purchased. In Benjamin's sack, he places his special silver cup. When the brothers of Joseph left from there, he sent his steward after them to confront them over the theft of the cup. Because there was a silver cup in Benjamin's sack, Judah pleaded with Joseph and said that he would not return home without Benjamin. Hearing this, Joseph could not restrain himself before all those who stood by him, and he cried out, "Make everyone go out from me." So no one stood with him while Joseph made himself known to his brothers. And he wept aloud, and the Egyptians and the house of Pharaoh heard it. Then Joseph said to his brothers, "I am Joseph. Does my father still live?" But his brothers could not answer him, for they were dismayed in his presence. And Joseph said to his brothers, "Please come near to me." So they came near. Then he said, "I am Joseph, your brother, whom you sold into Egypt. But now do not therefore be grieved or angry with yourselves because you sold me here. For God sent me before you to preserve life. For these 2 years the famine has been in the land, and there are still 5 years in which there will be neither plowing nor harvesting. And God sent me before you to preserve a posterity for you in the earth, and to save your lives by a great deliverance. So now it was not you who sent me here, but God, and He has made me a father to Pharaoh, and the lord of all his house, and a ruler throughout all the land of Egypt. Hurry and go up to my father and say to him, Thus says your son Joseph, God has made me lord of all Egypt. Come down to me, do not tarry. You shall dwell in the land of Goshen, and you shall be near to me, you and your children, your children's children, your flocks and your herds, and all that you have. There I will provide for you, lest you and your household and all that you have come to poverty, for there are still 5 years of famine. And behold, your eyes and the eyes of my brother Benjamin see that it is my mouth that speaks to you. You shall tell my father of all my glory in Egypt and of all that you have seen. And you shall hurry and bring my father down here. And he fell on his brother Benjamin's neck and wept. And Benjamin wept on his neck. Moreover, he kissed all his brothers and wept over them. And after that, his brothers talked with him. Then Joseph gave them provisions for the journey, and also he gave them cards according to the command of Pharaoh. He gave to all of them, to each man, changes of garments, but to Benjamin he gave 300 pieces of silver and 5 changes of garments. Now the report of it was had in Pharaoh's house, saying, Joseph's brothers have come. So it pleased Pharaoh and his servants well. And Pharaoh said to Joseph, Say to your brothers, Do this, load your animals and depart, go to the land of Canaan. Bring your father and your households and come to me. I will give you the best of the land of Egypt, and you will eat the fat of the land. Now you are commanded to do this. Then they went up out of Egypt and came to the land of Canaan to Jacob their father. And they told him, saying, Joseph is still alive, and he is governor over all the land of Egypt. And Jacob's heart stood still, because he did not believe them. But when they told him all the words which Joseph had said to them, and when he saw the cords which Joseph had sent to carry him, the spirit of Jacob their father revived. Then Israel said, It is enough. Joseph my son is still alive. I will go and see him before I die. Now Jacob inquired of the Lord and went to Egypt. Joseph's father and brothers went to the land of Goshen in the land of Egypt as a family of 66. This news was reported to Pharaoh. They lived in the country of Ramses. Jacob blessed Pharaoh. After Jacob blessed Joseph, he blessed Manasseh and Ephraim, who were born to him in Egypt, and included them as his sons in the tribe of his sons. Along with them were 70 people. Jacob told Joseph after his death he would bury himself in his father's grave. After Jacob died, Joseph buried Jacob's body in the burial ground of his fathers. Joseph lived in Egypt for about 110 years. And Joseph said to his brethren, I am dying, but God will surely visit you and bring you out of this land to the land of which he swore to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob. Then Joseph took an oath from the children of Israel, saying, God will surely visit you, and you shall carry up my bones from here. So Joseph died, being 110 years old, and they embalmed him, and he was put in a coffin in Egypt. Joseph nourished all the people in the land of Egypt and the people of Egypt. He brought everyone under Pharaoh's rule. They asked Joseph to give them food after spending money on the Egyptians. Therefore, all the animals, lands, and possessions belonged to Pharaoh. Joseph saved his brothers who had wronged him, and even his father's family. 430 years later, Moses took Joseph's bones with him when Israel left for Canaan. The children of Israel brought the bones of Joseph from Egypt and buried them in Shechem in the land that Jacob bought from the children of the Amorites for 100 pieces of silver. That land belonged to Joseph's sons. Now, what we have understood from this lesson, we should also forgive others We should love those who hate us, like Joseph. Also, the Lord will do great things by His children. Will you become His children? Yes. Okay, children. God bless you.